It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who won't awaken to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the air. That's the reason I collect so many guns in my lair. I ain't never caught slipping, never underprepared. Yeah, they shade sign on me, they just bring it proudly. George Bush, the grandson of Alistair Crowley. They want you to believe a lot of the enemy Saudi. The enemy ain't Saudi, the enemy around me.
Alright guys, hold on to your butts because this one's going to be quite intense. Excuse me. I talked of the time capsules earlier, and now that we kind of have an understanding that this string of videos is going towards the spiritual nature of things, I want to keep it very clear that regardless of what book I'm taking the information from, that it holds validity to me. And if I can decipher it with any kind of intelligence, and if I can share that properly, to push you into a direction that's going to enable you to study things in a particular way, with maybe a different mindset, with a different approach, that's one of my goals. That's really all I'm here for. I made a video too, and it didn't work very well, so now I got so many ideas jumbling in my head right now. So you're going to have to bear with me. So I'm restarting video 2, and I'm going to incorporate the ideas that I was going to put into video 3 at the same time. I'm going to do an abridgment because I can't remember everything I just covered. I do these on the fly, for those of you who don't know. I don't script myself. I press play and I record and I tell you what's on my mind. That's pretty well all I do. So in the last one, as I stated earlier, I spoke of time capsules. In this one, I want to just jump right in there and go as deep as I physically can and see how far of you can follow me. So we're just going to start at somewhere simple. We're going to call it the rapture. Now, this isn't the rapture that you would understand in your traditional readings and teachings. This is something that, you know, I smoked a big fucking fatty and kind of came to me, and I said, oh my goodness, how could this can't be true. And with further research, I realized that there was more of a possibility that it could be true than me just being a little too stoned for my own good. So, we heard of the rapture. A lot of people, they talk about people being exalted and raptured out, and then some being left behind. There's a lot of emphasis pushed on this being raptured out, and not a whole lot of this emphasis of those are left behind. And I think that those that are left behind is something that's going to be easier for us to notice and see than those who are rapturing out. In some of the videos, we've noticed, well, where are the elites? The elites. We can't really find them anymore. You know, they're beginning to hide. If you don't know what I'm talking about, research in the resistance, and you'll notice there's a few articles that indicate that the elites aren't, well, for lack of a better word, they aren't above ground anymore. Can't seem to be finding them. So that would, to me, be symbolic as raptured out. Someone, they're hiding, they're gone. We don't know where they went, and they're gone. Now, those who are left behind, well, in layman's terms, that would be us. So what I was thinking of was, oh my goodness, I thought of the Catholic Church immediately and its fiscal problems that it's been facing. Some of you may not be aware, but I'm sure a whole lot of you are aware that the Catholic Church has been forced to foreclose on a great many of their churches in small towns and things like that. Whatever the case may be, not prepared to say why, I just know that they are. So I put that as a real-life thing that's taking place, and how could that be metaphorically pushed forward through a scripture? And I was like, oh my goodness. When you understand that sacred geometry and sacred nautical sites on the planet, and you also understand that a building made of sacred geometry built on a sacred site survives a pole shift. When you know that, you know that, well, one, that's pretty cool, and how do we go to try and say that that's the truth? To me, personally, it's a lot easier to believe that someone made a pyramid above ground and the earth shifted, and that shit ended up underwater. Easier for me to believe that than for me to believe that we held our breath and did it underwater. So that leads to the pole shift theory. Now, that would also mean that it's true that it survived the pole shift because the pyramid didn't crumble. It just kind of, went underwater. Now, why is that important? Well, we also know that Masons build just about every church on the planet, regardless of the religion, regardless of the faith. They build the buildings for them. We also know that Masons are very well aware of the sacred geometry and sacred nautical sites. This would lead me to believe that just about every church built on the planet, regardless of the faith, would be built on a sacred site. Ooh. So, if a building built on a sacred site survives a pole shift, then that would be an area of safety. What happens if that building's not there? Then that safety net isn't there. Therefore, if the building's not there, those who would have benefited from the building are literally, quite literally, left behind. So there's some interesting things there. That's a reality approach to what has been stated. You've noticed that I talk a lot about the LDS religion, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as Mormons. The reason why I believe this, and that I research it with quite ferociousness, I'm not going to lie to you, is that their doctrines are closer to what we believe, and I say we very, very warmly, meaning this entire resistance. The doctrines of the LDS faith are closer to what we believe as a consciousness grid than anything else out there. There's reasons for this. When I found Nibiru, when I found the Nibiru theory and the stories, and oh my God, 2012, and the shit's just going to hit the fan. When I found all of that, okay, I had to find whether or not there was a faith that believed it, because that leads just as much more credibility to it. It means that something of old knew of this. That's what's important. So the ancient Sumerians and the Lemurians and Atlantis and all of that stuff, all of those things, I've come to realize is encouraged by the LDS Church. You're encouraged to study that. It's important to you if you want to know some of the truths. I also found out that the Nibiru story is not new. It's not the first time that one's come about. I found out that 200 years ago or so, someone was tarred and feathered and assassinated in a jail cell. And I said, holy mother, I gotta look into that. Why did he get assassinated in a jail cell? They wanted him all kinds of dead, dude. All kinds of dead. I've brought this debate up a lot. What was this man talking about that was so crazy that it managed to ban every religion on the block together to destroy this man? That is worth looking into. He was that kind of bad. Every church wanted him dead. I had to look into this. I found out that this man declared that there was a possibility that what mankind knows as God of old would be nothing more than an extraterrestrial of today. And he taught that. He also taught that there was not a religion on the face of the earth at that point, until he started speaking, that was worshipping the energies that men once called God in the way that it once did. He was indicating that all religions on the planet had become corrupt. Not too hard for any of us to believe that. Now is it? Come on. So I started looking into even deeper. Well, if they're all corrupt, what the hell are you saying that's different? This man spoke of a planet. He called it Kolob. Or no, he didn't call it Kolob. He was told it was called Kolob. So And he was told that that planet was the planet closest to where God came from. That's what he taught. That man's name was Joseph Smith. Now, a lot of people know that Joseph Smith was also a Mason.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit when it happens.